Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today I'll be doing 2 Blu-ray reviews for the latest Vestron video releases of Beyond Re-animator and Dagon. First, we'll be kicking it off with a review of Beyond Re-animator. This is the third in the franchise. The original, obviously a cult hit, followed by Bride of Re-animator, and Beyond Re-animator takes place around 15 years after the second one. This time around, Dr. Herbert West is put into a maximum security prison, and his undying love and his obsession with science and bringing things back to life and just his fascination with life in general has him looking for new specimens in the jail. He starts with rats, but obviously people are gonna get injured, and a young doctor at the prison is actually a protege to Dr. West, so they continue some experiments together. First and foremost, talking about the movie itself, it's really fun. I really enjoyed this movie. I had an absolute blast because Herbert West is just such an interesting character. He doesn't care about anything other than kind of science. He's got like his mindset on continuing to evolve the science of reanimation. And I absolutely love that. He won't let anybody get in his way, and he just continues to work his magic. Jeffrey Combs does an amazing role, as he always does, because he's kind of got this arrogant side to him. Like, you both hate him and you love him, and that's kind of almost all of Jeffrey Combs' characters, to be honest. He's always like this asshole, but like you wanna see where he's going with certain things.
Well, I love playing characters that are you love to hate and hate to love. It's this sort of yin and yang of respect and revulsion kind of thing going on.
He's just a strange protagonist, which adds to the enjoyability of all of the Re-animator films. This one, because they're in the confines of a jail, there's a little more to play with than like a hospital, because there's an inherent plot line when it comes to prison movies where you can do all these like little experiments, but at the end of the day you already know what the end goal is, and it's to get out of prison. Prisons also have so many different aspects to them because you have guards to play with, you have different cells, death row inmates, you've got the yard, you've got all types of different things, prison riots. And definitely there's a crazy prison riot in this movie, and all of this looks absolutely beautiful on this new version of Beyond Re-animator. The bright green serum pops, the blood and the weirdness of the animatronics and the gore, everything looks super sharp. On the Blu-ray, there are quite a number of special features. There's a brand new commentary by director Brian Yuzna. There's score selections and an audio interview with the composer Xavier Capellas. There's Beyond and Back, an interview with Brian Yuzna. All of the interviews are roughly around 20 minutes, but that was really cool to find out more about the creation of Beyond Re-animator and how it came to be, because this is a movie that was kind of shelved for a very long time, and Jeffrey Combs even states in his interview that he wanted to be kind of like moving forward with Re-animator constantly, and Yuzna says that like he wanted to make this like a long franchise similar to how Halloween is done. And so the interviews all give great insight into their passion and their love for Herbert West as a character. And Yuzna talks about like the influences of H.P. Lovecraft and translating that to film, because obviously he's done more Lovecraftian films, including the other movie that we have here, which is Dagon. Another cool special feature is an interview with author S.T. Joshi, who's the author of I Am Providence, The Life and Times of H.P. Lovecraft. And this is the kind of interview that I think a lot of people would want to listen to, because this guy's a historian who knows everything about Lovecraft and has a lot to bring to the table when it comes to comparing Jeffrey Combs to the Herbert West of the H.P. Lovecraft era. And to sum it up, he just didn't have blonde hair. That's basically what he says, but it's 20 minutes long, and it does have some really insightful things, especially if you are a fan of Lovecraft. I haven't read as much as I probably should have, and I know I've been ridiculed on the channel, especially when we did The Void and a couple other things that were Lovecraft inspired. People yell at me for not having read more Lovecraft, but these are the kind of interviews that I think would give people that like Lovecraft already a little bit more to go on and more appreciation for the films themselves. Also on the Blu-ray, we have some like archival footage. There's like old interviews with cast members and the directors. Of course, the theatrical trailer and even a music video.
Come a little closer. I'm the Re-animator.
So there's some really great information and interviews and audio commentaries on this. I think a lot of people would really enjoy it. It's a really quality release. I do wish that there was some behind the scenes featurettes because there's not a lot of actual behind the scenes footage, and I wish there was. But what we do have is of quality, and there's lots of stuff here, at least a couple hours of extra content. So if you're a fan of the Re-animator series, I think this one's a no-brainer. So combining my thoughts with both the Blu-ray release as well as the film itself, I have to give this 4 reanimated rats out of 5. Next up, we have the Vestron video release 16 H.P. Lovecraft's Dagon. Now, this is a really interesting movie. This one's directed by Stuart Gordon, who of course directed the original Re-animator, so it's kind of nice to see both Stuart Gordon and Brian Yuzna getting some love from the Vestron collection. Dagon is a movie that I have never seen before. Everyone has recommended it, and I'm actually really glad that this was the first experience of it because it's a wild time. It's completely nuts. This movie stars Ezra Godden as Paul. Him and his girlfriend Barbara, played by Raquel Morano, are celebrating the success of their new company on a yacht off the coast of Spain. They experience some bad weather, they crash into a rock, they seek safety at a local fishing town, and the fishing town has a lot of secrets hidden below the surface, and some also on top of the surface, as most of the people in the village are these kind of like fish-like cultists to an extent. It's very difficult to explain, but there's lots of different creatures in this movie. There's a lot of almost like mythology. You have like sirens, you have Cthulhu type creatures. There's basically just a lot going on. At night, Barbara goes missing, and then Paul is kind of left by himself, and for the entire movie, he's just running around trying to not get caught by this village that seems to be after him for some reason, and he has no idea why. He knows that something weird's happening. He's fed information throughout the film of these like ancient secrets and stuff, and he is just way over his head. This movie has incredible practical effects, and the way that they built the world is phenomenal. Like, there's so many great practical effects and different creatures. Just everything looks great. It's got this really creepy tone to it, but it also is like fun and exciting. Like, the music makes it seem more like an adventure movie. And like closer to the end, I kind of thought like this felt a lot like Dead Alive in like a Lovecraftian universe. It just feels like you get pushed to your limits, and eventually it just keeps spiraling out of control. Even when you think you've almost got it in control, you think you're getting away, and then there's just more and more layers revealed to this like hidden history of the town, and just a bunch of bullshit falls on this guy. And I felt super bad for him, but it was great to watch. So if you have not seen Dagon, I think now's the time, because this is actually an excellent release. Having never seen the film, I was a little bit overwhelmed, but I also like really enjoyed myself. And then being able to kick back and listen to some of the interviews that are on the Blu-ray, it like added to my appreciation of the movie. And can I just say, I also have to mention this. This has probably the best face rip scene that I've ever seen. Like, it's probably like one of the best practical effects I've seen in a very long time. But talking about the special features, we've got an audio commentary with Stuart Gordon and the screenwriter Dennis Pauly. We have a commentary with Stuart Gordon and Ezra Godden, so the main star of the film. We've got interviews, Gods and Monsters, a discussion with director Stuart Gordon, interviewed by Mick Garris. This one's actually really cool. An interview with the producer Brian Yuzna. Of course, like Stuart Gordon and Yuzna are friends and work together well. And this kind of talks about how both Beyond Re-animator and Dagon were picked up by a Spanish company, and they're shot with like Spanish crews and Spanish like casts, and them basically being the only Americans on the set of each respective film. This interview is actually shot at the same place that the Beyond Re-animator commentary was shot as well. Then we've got Fish Stories, which is another interview with S.T. Joshi. So again, same setup for the interview, is comparing H.P. Lovecraft's original work to basically how it translates in the film. And then we've got like the archival footage and the vintage EPK interviews. So there's probably about 5 or 6 older interviews from the film's release where they talk to more of the actors and the people involved, and it's pretty cool. I just had an absolutely great time with both the film and watching all the special features. If you haven't seen this, I would highly recommend it. So taking everything into consideration from the film itself and the Blu-ray special features, I would definitely give this 5 hot siren queens out of 5. For those curious, I do want to do like individual actual reviews as a group, so hopefully at some point we'll be doing those, or doing like commentaries or something at some point. We want to review all of the Vestron movies as like group reviews. Unfortunately, John was on vacation, so we weren't able to film anything for like full reviews, but I did want to let you know my initial thoughts, as well as break down some of the special features and just let you know that these movies are out and I think you should pick them both up. So as always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the films if you've seen them. If you haven't and you do want to check them out, there are links in the description where you can find them. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and Beyond.